and welcome to the Online Essentials Getting Started and Navigation bite-sized video for the M7 Online Essentials unit for ICDL. The areas covered in this video are displayed in the bulleted text on the slide, and this is the first of several videos on the M7 Online Essentials unit, and we do hope you enjoy this video and the others that follow it. The internet. You may be asking your test to define what the internet is. So I'll ask you probably in the multiple choice scenario of what would correctly stand for the internet. Pretty much the internet is a collection of ICT devices that are connected by a global network, which allows individuals like yourself and me to communicate and share information through whether it be a desktop computer, mobile phone, tablet, laptop, any device that is connected to the internet, games console as well, for example. You also may in your test be asked to define what the World Wide Web is. So the World Wide Web is a vast collection of interconnected files which we all call web pages. So once we go on the internet, we can go onto a web page, we'd use that via the World Wide Web. Just a few key areas here. You might be asking your test to look at the different connections, connectivity to the internet. So you've got dial-up, satellite, 3G, 4G, DSL cable, and leased lines. If anyone's familiar, dial-up is the old variants of the connected to the internet, where you dialed in via a telephone system, and then you got connected. But the connectivity was really, really small and slow. What majority of people will be using is DSL cable. That's the popular in home and small businesses, so your digital subscriber line. Keep an eye on that word DSL, digital subscriber line. That may pop up in your test as well to define what DSL means. For big businesses and organizations, particularly like Coventry University, leased lines will be used particularly because there's the high bandwidth and the high volume of individuals using upload and download too. You may also in your test be asked to define what a Wi-Fi network is and why we would use them. So ideally Wi-Fi network are particularly suitable for devices on the move, for like say laptops, tablets, mobile phones. If you've got portable games consoles as well, handheld games consoles, it allows you to access the internet with the resources that are available to you on the move. Connecting, the most important thing to ensure that your connection is safe and you are authorized to use it is to have it access to a Wi-Fi access point, which is protected by a security key. If you look at the examples just at the bottom, we've got multiple wireless devices available through Coventry University. So we've got the Phoenix, Fast, the Guest, the Secure as well. And on the right hand side, we've got what we normally see on our home computer. So if we were to click the network option just at the bottom, where just here, we'd be able to see what our connections that we're connected to and what's available when we select it. Sorry, you'll see on the right hand side we've got the signal strength indicator. So in your test you may be asked to point out which icon, which image describes the signal strength indicator. It's this one here. So you see the home network is the strongest, Starbucks is quite medium, and airport Wi-Fi is very, very low. Should be there. The SSID list is the available network connections. Now in your test you may see SSID. Now that's service set identifier. Just remember, if you see SSID, that is service set identifier. That is a description of the wireless network you're connecting to. So on the internet, a web page has its own unique web address. This is known as a uniform resource locator. Another thing you may see in your test may prompt you to explain what a URL is. Just remember that a web address is known as a uniform resource locator. Just an example, just at the bottom, some domain names. So for a company, it's .co or .com. Academic, like Coventry University, we've got coventry.ac.uk. And then you've got government, non-profit organisation, and .net for an internet company. May pop up in your test. Just keep an eye and remember, particularly AC, gov.co.com, as well as .net too for internet company as well. Web browsers won't really come up in your test, but just to briefly state that you've got different variances. There's a market share of what's being used at the moment. So Chrome is the most popular as of July 2020. And then first of all, we're going to look at the Internet Explorer browser. So in this syllabus, it's not going to be going for any of the other browsers. It's looking at Internet Explorer 11. So we may be confident using Chrome or Edge or Firefox, just be aware that this, in particular for the syllabus, is Internet Explorer 11. And also don't get confused between Internet Explorer and Edge, because they are different web browsers. Even when I first started using them, I was finding it a bit difficult, but Internet Explorer and Edge are completely separate, even though they're both run by Microsoft themselves. So for me to demonstrate Internet Explorer, what we've got on the slides is pretty much some little handy things to point out, because you may in your test be asked to point and select the areas that it comes up in the question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Internet Explorer onto the screen, so I'm going to show you and demonstrate a bit more easier. So the best way, once Internet Explorer has been installed on your computer, if you go to Microsoft.com, search for Internet Explorer, you can download it. You can type search and then type IE and then click it just there. As pointed out, be careful, it's Internet Explorer we're concerned about. And some of you may have already used it if you've gone into your diagnostic when you're doing your practice for your previous modules. So I've already got one open. So now we're in the browser. On the top left hand corner we've got the navigation buttons, which is move forward, move backwards. We've got our URL bar just here, the uniform resource locator. We also have this icon here, which is the refresh button. We have a tab which displays the web page. We can also click a new tab to bring in another web page if we wanted to keep the previous one open. We have our view window just here, and we've got our browser control here, so we can print, and we can also use internet options. Another thing to consider going into your test is knowing what a hyperlink is. So a hyperlink is on a web page, but it could be a piece of text, it could be an image, it could look not even like something that you can click, but it may, dependent if you hover over it, and it will show. So you'll see here we've got the Coventry University webpage. If I was to put my mouse over, you'll see accommodation. If I left click, it takes me to another location on the web page, and that hyperlink not just within a website, for instance Coventry University, it could also take you to another web domain or another web page outside of the link to it. And it's not just images as well, it can be text too. So it takes us there, and there we go. Also, we have a really good option on all web browsers, so you may be asked this in the test, is to sort out and actually look at your favorites. So if you find your test it's asking you to point out where you go to get your favorites, the star just next to the home page button. So that home page takes us to our home, but just stick into this. So we left click here, and it will show us our favorites. You can also see the your past history just here, and if you to click this arrow just on your URL, it will show you the past pages you've been to too. So you may be asking your test to say where would you click to see previously visited web pages. Got there, and you can also see by the history too. You can add a web page to your favorites. So click favorites, add to favorites, or if you want to add a new folder for a specific topic of a collection of web pages, you can add a new folder there, and you can click add once it's been created. May come up in your test, just to be aware. Key thing is that's favorites, and then you can manage your favorites and your history